This is a summary video of the Contract Management System demo given for value options. To begin the demo, we'll start off in the Customer Portal, where we can submit contracts, view the contracts we've submitted, and be able to view all contracts if permissions were granted. We're also allowed to modify the user's profile from here. To begin with, we'll start off by submitting a contract. Based on our login, our information is automatically pulled into the record, including our name and our department. First, we'll select the type of contract. We can select from a client, vendor, or provider. This is a choice list that can be easily modified by the administrator. Choosing a client, vendor, or a provider will determine what type of approval workflow will then be present. If we select client, then we see that we have a client contract workflow number 1 present. If we were to select provider, you can see that we have 2 different workflows available to us. We'll select the first one. Next, we'll pull in the company name. By clicking the magnifying glass, we can search for company contacts. All we have to do is enter some information into the search box, click Go, and view the results. We'll take and highlight the record and click Import Replace. The company name and the contact information is pulled in automatically. Next, we'll scroll down and we'll enter the contract title and the licensure levels and disciplines and contract description. The licensure levels and disciplines fields are visibility dependent on the type of contract as well. First, we'll enter a contract title. Next, we'll select the licensure levels, disciplines if necessary, and a contract description. Next, we'll enter a contract start date and a contract end date. Click Apply, and we'll do the same thing for the contract end date. And click Apply. We could have a business rule that would automatically fill in the contract end date based on the contract term in months. Next, we'll enter the contract value, and we can select our renewal type, whether this is a one-time contract or if we want to be notified when it's time to renew. We'll click the Notify Staff to renew. We also have a Contract Files tab, which is where we could enter and attach contract files if we had them. We're going to generate our file from a template, and I'll show you that next in the staff interface. Before we go on to save this record, we'll scroll back to the top and we'll click the Renewal tab. Here we can set the days in advance to notify for the renewal, and the renewal notification date will automatically be populated based on the days in advance value. Notice that this is a pop-up that shows whenever the cursor is floated over the field. With that, we can either save the record, which will save the record in draft, or we could submit the record for approval. We'll go ahead and save it now. And now we can take a look at the contracts that we've previously submitted. I can click the My Contracts link, and you can see the one that we just created is in draft form. If I were to edit that record, you see that I can now click the Submit for Approval button and change any of the text fields that I previously submitted if I need to make some adjustments. We'll go ahead and click Submit for Approval now. Next, let's take a look at another contract we previously submitted. If I click Edit, notice that we're not allowed to edit the contract, only to view. This is a permissions-based feature of the software that will not allow the end user to edit the record unless it's in a draft status. In this case, the approval cycle has been complete and we're going through the process of creating the contract. Let's go ahead and close this window by clicking the Close button. Next, let's jump over to the staff interface to process the contract. Here we are at the staff interface. This is the home page that has been designed for the contract managers. It's a widget-based home page that consists of 2 chart widgets and a table widget. This is a dashboard that allows the contract manager to quickly view the status of contracts and the contracts that are expiring within the next 12 months, and allows for easy access to all contracts that are pending approval. This homepage can be modified for different teams, and you can see that we have multiple home pages available. Let's start by going over to our contracts table to look at the contracts that we just submitted. Prior to opening the contract, let's take a look at our contract templates. We can upload contract templates into our print templates by coming over to the printer icon and coming down to the Manage button. You can see that we can create HTML templates, Word or PDF templates, and we can also manage the 2 templates that we already have in our system. And next we can select either of the templates to view them. In this case, let's take a look at our provider template by clicking the Edit icon. Next, if I scroll down a little bit, you can see the contract template that has been attached. I can edit that contract by clicking the hyperlink to open the contract in Word. Here is the sample contract that we have in our demo system. You can see that it has variables entered into the contract which can be populated for information from our contract form. We'll show how this looks when we've gone through and actually created the template, created the contract. We'll go ahead and close the Word window and come back to our contract. And now we can click Cancel to exit this screen. Let's open up the contract we previously submitted, which is in now pending approval status. Here's the contract in the staff interface. You'll notice that it has several of the same fields, but some additional fields. We also have a graphic indicating at what point we are in the contract provider workflow steps. You can see additional information about our company name, as well as the additional fields that we entered below. To begin the processing of the contract, let's scroll to the bottom and create the contract using the Action button. If we click the Create and Attach button, we will take the information that we've entered into the system and fill it into the contract template. You can see that the contract has been created and attached to the contract file and named appropriately. Notice that we're in view mode now, and we can edit this contract by coming up and clicking the Edit button. And we'll show you how we can check in and check out contract documents. We'll scroll to the bottom. We'll click the Attach Manage button. And notice on the far right that we have 3 icons: a checkout, an update, and a delete or a remove icon. We're going to check out this contract and make some changes to it and then update the contract. First, we'll come in and we'll click the checkout button. We'll open the file in Word and edit it. We'll go ahead and click Finish Now. And we'll click Save to exit the record, and then we'll begin editing the Word document. Here's our contract that's been filled out based on the information that was in a contract form. So we have things like the West Georgia Medical Center information located in here and our contract dates. Let's begin by editing this contract and replacing our old company name, Enterprise Wizard, with our new company name. First I'll highlight, and now I will replace. And replace all, and close. And now you see that our contract has been changed, and we'll save this to our desktop. And we'll close out our Word document. Next, let's update and check back in our contract file. We're back in our contract. We'll click Edit. We'll scroll down. click the Attach Manage button. Notice that there's some changes now to our attachments window. If we click the small plus sign next to our contract, we can see that the contract date when it was created, when it was checked out, and who it was checked out by. Also notice that our icons have now changed from a checkout to a release or an update. We're going to go ahead and update this contract. First, we'll click the Update icon. We'll browse to our desktop by clicking the Browse button. Find our contract, open, and attach it to the contract. Notice it says the file's been checked in and will be accessible once we click Finish and save the record. So we'll click Finish, and then we will save our contract record. And if we scroll down, and we can take a look right from the contract record itself and see that the contract was checked out and now has been updated, the date and time, and who it was updated by. We'll click Close to exit here. We can open up the contract directly by clicking the link, and we can see the changes that we made, the latest changes that we made. We'll click X to exit the Word document. Next, let's talk about the approval workflows. When we selected the contract provider workflow number 1, let's go over to the approvals workflow. And you see that initially the contract has been assigned to the contract management team, and this is step 1. To begin the contract process, we'll edit the contract. A note would have gone out to the contract management team to alert them that a contract had been placed into pending approval, and with their approval, that's the first step. They would come into the contract and either approve or reject the contract and enter some notes. Once finished, they can click the Review Completed button. And notice that now the contract has been changed and the current approval team has been changed to the legal review team, step 2, and our notes have been added to the append only field. Our contract approval record has also been created and stored as an attached record here. We can edit the contract, and once again, as the legal team, come in, review the notes that were previously submitted, and then we can approve or reject the contract. Once they are completed, they can click the Review Completed button. The contract is saved and closed, and then the third step occurs, and the Senior Vice President review team has been assigned the task of approving this contract. We'll click Edit, and we'll come in as a Senior VP, and we'll approve the contract. And we'll click the Review Completed button. Notice that now the status of the contract has been changed to Approvals Complete, and a notification has come back to the contract management team to alert them that all of the approvals process has been completed. This completes the summary video of the contract management system demo given for Value Options.